Today we're going to hear from Kelly Wilson, and she is head of Homeless BackPacks, which is an organization that Rotary isn't directly connected to, but we all do the same thing and we work together, but not together. But we all do this. We do the same thing, but in different areas, so that we overlap, so that we don't overlap to some extent. So, anyhow. Kelly's the founding board member of and also the chairperson of Homeless BackPacks. And she's been in Lacey now for 28 years. Her husband's family owns Dirty Dave's, who, many of you know who that is, Greg. And she's a mother of 3 grown children. Looks forward to the arrival of her first grandchild at the end of this month. She's retired from a 20-year career in makeup artist and day spa owner. She's grateful to have more time now to spend with her family, as well as the additional time and energy available for Homeless BackPacks. She's going to be sharing with us today about the Homeless BackPacks program, from the inception through today, who they serve, how they serve, and the many ways that Rotarians are a big part of what makes it work. So let's welcome Kelly Wilson.
Okay, I'm going to try to make this PowerPoint work. I'm not really good at it, but let's see what happens here. Okay. All right, so yes, I'm Kelly Wilson of Homeless BackPacks. We provide weekend food to homeless students in Thurston County. And I know that this group works with the food bank and stuffs bags for their 4 Kids program. And we have companion programs, the 4 Kids and the Homeless BackPacks. So in about 2005, a group of friends wanted to start a program to provide weekend food to homeless students. And we knew that who we should talk to if it's food is Robert Coit down at the food bank. So we spent a couple months working side by side and drafting out how the program would work. And then when we rolled it out, the food bank took on all the elementary schools in Olympia, Lacey, Tumwater, and Homeless BackPacks took on the high schools and middle schools in Olympia, Lacey, Tumwater. Since that time, we've also added, Homeless BackPacks has added in all grades in Rochester, Tenino, Rainier, and Yelm. So as of this week, we're serving 466 students a week. And that's a lot of students. We've never served that many before. Even at times when we were serving other counties besides Thurston County, we were never at that high of a number. This time last year, in fact, I just looked it up this morning. This time last year, this week last year, we were serving 393 students a week. And that's a difference of 73 students. And the impact to our program is that each bag is $8 a bag. So when you times that by 73, our program is costing $584 more per week than it did last year. But we get a lot of support from our community. We don't get any government grants or anything like that. We really do we're funded and fueled by our community, and Rotarians are a big part of that. We just got a $1,000 gift from this Rotary Club. We've gotten gifts from other Rotary Clubs, the volunteering, doing food drives. The Capital Rotary, they actually have adopted Capital High School, and they provide fresh fruit to the students that we serve. Every month they shop and they deliver fresh fruit to the counselor at that school, so that the students, we can only provide canned foods, and we don't really like that, but it's the only thing we can provide just with our structure. So they supplement it with fresh fruit, and we just think that's really cool. See, I was going to try to click through this program. So anyway, back to the beginning, how we started. We were a group of friends that were out at dinner one night, and we were talking about encounters with homeless people, and just how you don't know what to do. You don't know if you should give them money, give them food. It's even uncomfortable sometimes to make eye contact with them. So we decided we wanted to do something about that. And we put together, we decided we'd have a party, and we stuffed backpacks full of things that we thought that homeless people would want. We divided up the list, set the date for our party, and we did that. And in the meantime, one of my business partners, her husband was a police officer, and she said, Kelly, you can't go out into the encampments unescorted. You need to connect with the police officers so that you have support. And so she connected us with Chris Ward here in Lacey. And so he said, yes, I'd like to go out with you. And he also called the Olympian and said, these ladies are going to go out and deliver some supplies. You might want to come along. And they did. And we hadn't planned it to work out that way, but it happened that we went out 2 days before Thanksgiving. And the Olympian did come, and they were taking pictures, and they said, do you have contact information? And I thought they meant if they had questions about the article or something, not that they would print my phone number in the newspaper. So the day before Thanksgiving, and you just think about how giving everyone is at that time of year. This was back in 2000, well, this was in 2004 probably. You think about how giving people are at that time. So my phone started ringing before I ever even got out of bed, and people asking how they could help. And I'm like, help with what? I didn't know what they were talking about. And I nudged my husband. I said, go get the newspaper. And the front page of the paper was this big, beautiful picture of my friend Perry handing a bright red backpack to a homeless man. And there was my phone number right underneath. So I was inundated for days with phone calls and really didn't know what to do about them. But it was really sweet just to hear, people wanting to help out. But one of those phone calls was the Housing Authority of Thurston County. And they asked if we'd like to participate in the homeless census, which takes place here in Washington State in January. And I don't know the date, we were just discussing that, but it's one day in January that it always takes place. And it's to count all the homeless people in the state, to gather a little information about them and find out how long they've been homeless, what they attribute their homelessness to, where their last fixed address was, their gender and age group. So because we participated in that, we got to see the results of it. So since we were a bunch of moms and grandmas and aunties and we just love kids, when we saw how many children there were that were homeless in Thurston County at this time, we were just shocked. And we knew that if we were going to do something permanently, that's where we wanted to make a difference, was with kids. And so we asked around. We didn't want to duplicate services. We wanted to see if there was a place where we could jump in and actually make a difference. And we found out that the homeless kids get their free breakfast and lunch during the school week, but they often don't have access to food over the weekends. So that's where we decided to jump in. And like I said earlier, we decided we needed to talk to Robert Coit at the food bank, and that's where we went from there. So, fast forward now, we have a facility very close to here. We're actually on the corner of Woodland Square Loop and College Street in the former Harborstone Credit Union building. We've got a great team of volunteers. We have our team leaders. We've got our shopping coordinator, our bagging coordinator, our delivery coordinator, and then they each have teams of people that work with them. And like our shoppers, they go out and they shop for 800 cans of chili at a time, and it's pretty phenomenal. No volunteer in our group has an easy job. Volunteering with homeless backpacks isn't, it's no walk in the park, but it's such a labor of love, and it's so beautiful. We just had a meeting the other night at our facility, and while the board was meeting over in one corner, we could see these volunteers coming in to pick up their bags. And there was this couple that I know they delivered out to Yelm. And it was so cold out. That night it was like 26 degrees out. And I just, going out in the night to go gather up bags and load them into your car. I mean, each of our bags weighs 6 pounds. This couple picks up 72 bags at a time. So they're loading them into their car, and then the next day they're loading them out of their car. So it's a lot of work, but I sat there and it just touched me in such a way to see that that's what this couple chooses to do on a Tuesday night is go out in the cold and pick up bags to make sure the kids have weekend food. It was really special. Flipping through here, I don't know if this is our board. We, when we moved into our new facility, Father Dustin McCready came and did a blessing on our space and our food and our volunteers, and it was so sweet. This is one of our shoppers shopping at Costco, and most of our food is purchased from Costco and Winco. We have a list on our website, homelessbackpacks.org, of our food that we use. And if anybody ever sees an item there that's on a really good sale, let us know, because we'll shop wherever the best price is. There's a car full of bags that I don't even remember where that person delivers to, but that's what it looks like to be a person on our delivery team, is to fill your car up like that. And then I think it'll flip next to the bagging. Now we do bagging parties. We bag about 3 times a month. And if your Rotary Club would ever like to be on our calendar and come in and bag with us, we'd love to have you do that as well. That's a bagging party from several years ago. It was a house we were in. Let's see, what else can I say about homeless backpacks? I had it when I was going to flip through this. Had a pattern to what I was going to say, but do you have any questions? Yes.
What happens during the summer when they're not in school?
That's a really good question. During the summer, the only reason that our program works is that they're in school. So we work with the counselors at each school. They let us know how many homeless students they're working with, and we provide that many bags of food to the school each week. Once they're out of school, we wouldn't know where to find them, and every year we think, how can we connect with these kids? And we just haven't come up with a way to do it. There are great programs over the summer where they can get free lunches and get access to food, and the counselors do a great job of arming the kids with that information before they leave. They start sending it out weekly with them during that last month of school. So they have the information, and we just trust that they get to the places they need to get. Yes?
How do you discover the homeless students?
The counselors do that. We don't have any contact with the kids. So the counselors and the teachers work together to identify them. The elementary students, they're pretty quick to just raise their hand and say, I'm hungry, I need help. There's really not a lot of investigating to do with them. But the middle school students and the high school students, they're a little different. They don't want anybody to know that they're homeless, and they don't want anybody to know that they need help. They just are working to try and blend in. So the teachers and the counselors work together to find cues that there's something that's not right there, and that they maybe need some help, and they start having conversations with them to get information. And the counselors have told us that the weekly food bags are a great conversation starter and a great way to build that relationship, we know, when they offer it up to them. And then one of the other benefits that we didn't even expect when we started the program was that bag of food also is a weekly opportunity for the counselor to check in and look the student in the face and know, are they safe? Is there something else they need? They've got a lot of other resources to work with, so they can provide, if they need shoes, if they need dental care, whatever it is that they need, or if they aren't safe and they really need to be someplace else. And the counselors in our schools, I just can't say enough about them. They're just phenomenal. Yes?
Is it just Olympia, Lacey, and Tumwater, or do you do out in South County too?
We do the South County, yes. We serve Rochester, Tenino, Yelm, and Rainier. Yes. Yes.
Do you know anything about the Shelton School District? I was reading 66% of the children are on the breakfast and lunch program there. Do you know anything about that?
We used to serve Mason County, and it was really, that stretched us a lot to serve Mason County. There's a group out there called Saints Pantry, and it's a group of churches that serve those kids. So they took on the program of feeding the homeless kids out there, and they're doing a great job. Yeah. Yeah, there was another question there at that table too.
Yes, do you have any working relationship with the Boys and Girls Club?
We don't have a working relationship with them. I would like to have one, but we don't. No,
Okay.
no. We do. We work a lot with Together because Together at some of the schools they are our point of contact for the kids. So we do some work with Together, and they do a fabulous job. And I see some other friends of Homeless Backpacks here. Matt Clue. Matt did his Christmas party at the jewelry store and did a food drive, and we were the beneficiaries of that. We really appreciate that. Yes?
What kind of food items are typically found in a backpack that goes home with a high school or middle school student?
So what we put into the bags is, and you know, we get a lot of flack for it not being nutritious, but we just haven't figured out how to, I'm just going to say that first, how to make it nutritious and work within the parameters we have, which is we need to bag up a whole bunch of food. It gets stored somewhere, you know, so, and keep within our budget. So we do a can of chili, a can of ravioli, a can of tuna, some macaroni and cheese packets, the Easy Mac packets, 2 top ramens, 2 fruit cups, 2 packs of oatmeal, granola bar, and a shelf-stable chocolate milk, 2 juice boxes, and microwave popcorn, and then a couple of snacks. It might be Rice Krispie treats, it might be crackers, just 2 snacks. So that's what goes into the bag. Yes?
That sounds nutritious to me.
Oh, hallelujah. Hallelujah. There's, flipping through these pictures, there's a picture of a little girl, and I really wanted to take note of that. Her name is Addison. She's 9 years old. And she, this year, told Santa Claus that she didn't need anything for herself, and she just wanted him to bring food for the Homeless Backpacks kids. So her mom contacted me right after Christmas, and we set a date to meet, and she brought all of her food, and just the most precious family you can imagine. And I got a hold of the Olympian, and I just said, hey, if you want to come meet Addison, she'll be at Homeless Backpacks at 3 o'clock on this day. So they did come, and they did a little interview and took a picture of her and her little sister with the food, and it was so sweet. And they published the article, and of course it goes out onto social media, and boy, somebody just zeroed in on the top ramen in that little girl's hand, and then it was a firestorm. And I thought, oh, how sad. This was just such a beautiful little story, and then to have it turn into that. So I always kind of hesitate when someone asks what the food is in there. And we know the top ramen it's not healthy, but it's filling, and it's really affordable for us. And if there was, another option that we could afford, we would grab it up in a second. Yes.
One year, I was talking to one of the bus drivers in the dead here. There's areas in this county where they pull up in woods. Low of morning, kids come out of the woods. And I asked him, what do these kids need? And so his answer was they need to wash their hands, clean their hands, and it's dark a lot of times. So that year, my wife and I went out and bought 400 bottles of Prel and 400 flashlights.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really great. Yes.
We got a lot of thanks for it.
That's great.
This might be a silly question, but do the kids ever have problems heating up the food, or finding a place to use the microwave popcorn? Or?
That's a question we ask all the time, because the kids live in so many different, there's not one way they live. They live in a lot of different ways. Of course, the elementary students are with their families, so a lot of times they're in a shelter or they're in an RV or something like that. So the parents make sure that that food gets handled however it needs to be handled. The high school kids live in a lot of different ways too, and a lot of them couch surf. So they would have access to someone's kitchen. They don't always have access to food, because usually the home that they're staying at isn't in a lot better shape than they are. They just happen to have a home, so they can't provide food. So but they do have access to a place to heat it up. We know of kids that live in their cars. We know of kids that live in tents. As I was just sharing today, on these cold nights, I just think about those kids, and I pray that they're not in a tent and they're not in a car, and that they've found a place to be warm, because the human beings can't survive out there. But we always ask that question about the food. Are you able to use it? They always say, yes, we utilize all of it. I think that some of them might trade the things they can't use. I think they trade it for things they can use. However it works out, as long as they're fed, we don't, that's fine. Anything else? All right. Thank you.
Kelly, thank you very much. That's a very compelling story. And one of the things that we do with our program speakers is we donate a book in your name to the South Sound Reading Foundation. So I'm going to ask you to take this with you and go ahead and sign the inside of it for us.
Okay, great.
And we'll get that to them.
What's the title?
Oh, I'm sorry. I keep forgetting to do that. It's Whitefoot. It's about the little rabbit.